we're going to be talking about romance, and we're going to be talking about the Rebel Blue Ranch series, because this is now a part of my personality, and I could think of no better person to talk about it with both romance and this series than Taylor, who is on various Discords, who basically was the person that pushed me to read this series. So, yeah.
Hi.
And I bullied her into joining, so it's fine.
Yes, this is my YouTube debut.
Yeah. Listen, I got your partner to be on screen. I'm getting you to be on screen. Like, the next step is getting you guys to start a channel, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I figured we talk about like romance in general first, how we started reading romance or not reading romance, what our thoughts about romance are, because I'm a convert, to spoil it. I'm a convert. I used to be that snooty person that was like, oh, romance, ew. But now I've come to the light. I've come to, be a proselytizer for romance. And then we'll talk about the series like in general terms, and then get into spoilers if we want to. So
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So I guess, how did you get into romance?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I've kind of always been into romance. Like when I was a teen, I was reading romance. I was reading like Nicholas Sparks, and I've kind of like always read it on and off throughout my life. And I also think that I've always been like a little bit of a hopeless romantic because I remember back in high school, I have no idea what the essay was about, but I remember getting graded on an English essay, and my feedback was, Taylor, I'm convinced you're a hopeless romantic. So clearly, it's always been something that I've been into, and yeah, I've been a Swiftie so my whole life, and I remember making like high school boyfriends watch The Notebook with me. So I've always been into romance and reading romance, but it's kind of like ebbed and flowed throughout my life, and there's been times where I just haven't read it as much. But I've definitely read a whole lot more of it in the last couple of years because I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and it's made it really hard to focus on sci-fi and fantasy. And getting into romance has just felt a lot easier and something that I'm more interested in right now. So that's where I'm at with it.
I honestly forgot Nicholas Sparks was a thing, because I remember reading The Notebook after the movie came out, and I was like, this is fine. This is good. I don't think I ever read anything else by Nicholas Sparks, but I did read Nicholas Sparks when I was, in late high school or early college, whenever that movie came out. So I guess I'm not terribly new to romance. As a romance reader, calling myself a romance reader, I'm brand spanking new. Yeah, my idea of romance was always, I'm going to be honest, it was kind of ruined by Jane Austen, because she set the bar high, and I'm like, well, this is the type of romance I want. And I confess I conflated the romance genre with just smut. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not a prude. Like, I'm all for sexual liberation. But I'm like, I don't want to read about that in my books, because I'm a closed door girly, now that I know those terms, for the most part. And but yeah, and then I read Emily Henry for the first time last year, and I was like, holy crap, this is as close to Jane Austen as I can get in a contemporary romance at this point, apparently. And then I had seen Done and Dusted, the cover for it, last year. I think it was late last year, and I was intrigued by it because the artwork is incredible. I just love the kind of illustrative quality to it. And it's got a cowboy on it, so I was like, oh, interested, but I'm not sure. And then you read them, and I was like, dadgummit. And then I decided to binge it, and I read all 4 of them in less than a week. They're great.
So, yeah, I think I was 6 days for all 4 of them.
Yeah, they are so binge-worthy. And I was pleasantly surprised, one, how much I liked the spicy scenes in in them, and also how much depth they had, which, you know, they are, romance is easy to read, but something that I don't think a lot of people, at least speaking for myself as someone who kind of judged the genre from the outside, there's a lot of depth to romances in the right author's hand. Of course, with anything, there's going to be a variety of, you know, craft and capabilities and stuff like that, but there are romances out there that give you the emotional connection and just character work of even a great fantasy. So
yeah, no, I agree. And I think that romance can be hard to like let yourself get into as a genre because it still has that kind of stigma where it's like, oh, it's a woman's thing, like it's frivolous, like it's not real literature. But it is, and it's like one of the best selling genres. So there's that. And yeah, I find a lot of that as well. Like I'm a character reader and I'm also in my last year of studying psychology. So I'm like really into getting into characters' heads and finding out like what's going on with them and getting to know them. And I think romance delivers a lot of that for me because yeah, it's about the romance and like the banter and the flirting between the characters, but it's also about like their trauma and how they handle emotional conflicts and unpacking all of that stuff with them. And then you feel like you get to know them when the author's done a good job, at least.
yeah.
So it has a lot of good qualities.
Yeah. Ditto. I'll just say ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And much like with any sort of kind of a genre fiction, there are like tropes that I've come to realize, like the open door versus closed door. I didn't know that was a thing until I started reading romance, but at least these ones, using these as an example, like there's such a variety. Because you can read, I don't know, one romance that's enemies to lovers, and you're like, you can, I don't know, conflate romance to being that, but there's so many other tropes like second chance
Definitely.
romance and friends to lovers and God knows what else.
Yeah. And I think the key is like finding what works for you and what you like. And then also being like open to trying different things because like there's a trope in one of these books that I didn't think that I would be interested in that I end up loving. So there's always things like that. But yeah, knowing what works for you is important. It's like, it's just like fantasy. If you're reading fantasy, you're not going to love every single fantasy book or every single trope in fantasy. There's stuff that works for you and there's stuff that doesn't.
You don't like the resurrection trope?
I do not.
So I guess generally, what is your favorite romance trope?
Mine, I think, is kind of like a specialization of enemies to lovers. Like I like enemies to lovers, but then I specifically like academic rivals to lovers is like my favorite trope. So when they're both kind of like, I don't know, I really like competitiveness, I guess. Like they're competing for something, or I think like kind of like Beach Read does this, has that trope. So there's like that banter and then that tension. But they can't like hate each other, obviously. It's gotta,
Yeah.
lead
So
to something.
what is it? Allie Hazelwood? Does she write a lot? She writes a lot of like academic rivals.
I actually haven't tried any of her books.
Oh, okay,
So
never mind.
maybe I should.
I
What about you?
So my favorite is second chance romance.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, well, I guess it's not really a trope, but it's like an element of if you add second chance romance and then you add letters to it, which is one of the Rebel Blue Ranch series books, I'm done. My favorite Jane Austen is Persuasion, and it's second chance romance and letters. So yeah, it's a 1-to-1 scenario. You know where it starts. So
Yeah. Whereas I'm like a Pride and Prejudice girly.
and that is rivals, not academic, but enemies to lovers type situation. And it all
Yeah,
comes back to Jane Austen. That's what I'm hearing.
it
So
does. Yeah. She's the queen of the genre.
it's true. True. Um yeah, so I guess spoiler free thoughts about the series. obviously we both like it, if not love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So binging a series in days is unheard of for me. So I think that's kind of a guarantee that I kind of like it a little bit. What is your favorite of the series?
My favorite is Lost and Lassoed, the third book, and we're going to talk about like tropes in this section. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that has the like enemies to lovers trope, in my opinion. Um, it was
and the
funny because
banter, the banter.
yeah, exactly. And and they kind of get a little like the couple in Lost and Lassoed get a little bit of a build up throughout the series. Like you have little snippets of them in the other books, and like I was seeing reviews when I was reading the other books. I was reading people's reviews, and they were like, "Yeah, we need this couple now," and I was like, "Oh yeah, like I think that'll be good." But then I got to that book, and I loved it. It was my favorite. It just worked so well for me. I really loved both of the characters separately as well, and the trope that I like wasn't sure about was also in this book was the like single dad trope. Just because I don't have kids, I also don't want to have kids, so I don't having a guy with kids was never something that I was like, oh, this will be a great thing to read about. But it worked really well for me in that book as well. Like I think that she did a good job of like building the characterization of the child as well.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it was. I loved all of them. Like I don't think any of them were bad, but that one just hit all the boxes for me.
Yeah. I think I rated all of them 5 stars except for Done and Dusted. But to be honest, if I reread Done and Dusted now, I'd be like, yeah, 5 stars. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think I didn't realize what I was getting into.
Right.
It was like dipping my toes in and then realizing, oh, here's the depth of everything. I don't That's a weird analogy, but my favorite is the second one, Swift and Saddled.
Okay.
I just think the leads are so sweet.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I like Ada as a character. I think she's pretty quiet and but she's determined. And I really like her realizing her femininity and that she can be friends with other women,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't have a lot of female friends growing up. And I was like, yeah, I totally get it. Like this is amazing. Yeah, and I love her character. And just the whole aspect of their relationship was just, well, we can get into spoilers about it, but like the whole
Yeah.
premise of it was just so sweet, so great.
Yeah. No, I really liked that one too. And actually, I'm surprised that that one didn't like end up being my favorite because I think on paper I'm the most like Ada. Like I'm very, like independent. Like I can do it by myself. I don't need a man to do that for me. um, and also like very quiet and reserved and like not having a large group of friends and stuff. So I think I'm a lot like her, but it just wasn't like the tropes in Lost and Lasso just worked a lot better for me.
I think we can both agree though that like regardless of the book, I think Lyla Sage is great at just creating compelling characters
Yes.
individually and together, which I feel like that's the hardest thing for me to believe in is the romantic connection between two leads.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've read some romances before where it's like you don't really believe the leads together that they would like each other.
Yeah.
Like you like them individually, but together they don't make sense, or the opposite. You like them together, but individually they're not very well fleshed out. They just seem like they're only meant to be together and they have no individual identity. Whereas
Yeah.
every single one of these couples has an identity. And like you mentioned before, like even Riley, the little kid in the third book, there's a depth and complexity to every single character that she
Definitely.
writes. So,
and I think we are very fortunate that we were able to read them all, like binge read them when they were all out, because just reading one after the other just added to the next book, because then we knew the family and we knew the characters and we knew the ranch and like even the horses. So
yeah.
just all of that just added to each book. And the like I love the family and I love the like small town vibes. It was just also cozy and like wholesome. Just to have a nice family was really nice.
That is something that I don't want to say I was surprised at, but I was not expecting, is how even with the spice, it felt cozy and it
Yes.
felt comforting. And I think she balanced that really well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And just I feel like a lot of romance books they kind of like feel like they have to have, I don't know, an asshole father, or a, the brother is so rude, or just like a family member that's causing drama or something. And while there's still depth to some of the backstories, and there's obviously things that have happened to them, this is just overall the family is very supportive and very loving, and that's really nice to read about, because we don't always need to read about drama and people just being toxic.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, okay. Even light spoilers, like even in the fourth book, like Cam's character, you're introduced to her. She's, well, in the first book even, she's the ex-wife baby mama of Gus. And normally, I feel like that would be an archetype of
Mm-hmm.
evil, like ex trying to manipulate or whatever. And you just love her. She's
Yeah.
one of the characters that I loved seeing glimpses of in every single book. And then when we finally got her story, her love story, I was like, this is great. Like, technically, you could read any of these books individually, but reading them in order and getting that buildup of character is just so rewarding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it would have been very easy to do the, I don't know, mean ex-girlfriend trope, or the like mean ex-boyfriend trope, or like not one of them being not a very good parent or something. Like that's just done so often. So it was very nice to see supportive families, and then also just like supportive co-parenting as friends
yeah.
without having to have drama involved. And then like both of them being supportive of each other's new partners as well was very nice.
So I guess before we get into spoiler territory, any non-spoiler general stuff?
Yeah, I guess
I know you did notes or whatever.
this isn't really a spoiler, but I think she also did a really good job with the horse side of it. Like, we both have horse backgrounds, and sometimes I'll be reading books with horses in it, or like riding, and it's just unbelievable. Like they you can tell that they haven't done their research, or they haven't actually been around horses themselves. But for me, it felt well done. Like I felt like she knew what she was talking about. The horses were great. And it just like it made me so happy and nostalgic for that time, because I don't currently have horses and I don't have like access to riding them frequently. So it just made me very like nostalgic for that time in my life. And I was even like looking for more horse books to read after this. I was like looking at cowgirl boots online. I was listening to country music. I was like in the vibe of these books.
Yeah, I probably should have written that down. But I know that I messaged you and I was like reading. I had started Done and Dusted. I was reading it already, and then I got the news that the barn that I've been writing at for going on 10 years is going to be closing because they're retiring and they're moving down south. So reading these books brought me such a comfort on top of just reading them by themselves. But the situation in which I was in, like I was able to escape to these books and get, I don't know, just get enveloped in the horses and the setting and these characters, and it brought a lot of comfort and solace in a not troubling, but like uncertain time, because I was very anxious during that week. So I loved reading these books on top of everything. But reading those books kind of saved that week for me. It was bright spots. So.
Yeah, I think that the whole vibe of the books was just a very overall like soothing, safe place to be in, and I really liked that.
It makes me very excited for her new book that's going to be coming out.
Yes, me too.
September,
yeah.
So set in the not same town, but the next town over, but it's paranormal, I think.
I believe so, yeah. I'm excited to see what she does.
Hopefully there's still horses involved somehow. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get into spoilers?
Let's do it. All right. So do you want to do one by one?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
So Done and Dusted. Like I mentioned before, I think I gave this 4 stars because we're like, this is good. You know, I binged it or whatever. And I was like, this is seems pretty standard for a romance. I liked the characters and everything. I wanted more of the horse stuff, like more of her working through the challenges that she had with writing. So, but that's a nitpick thing. But I loved the writing, and I loved the dynamic between the two, and the establishment of all the characters. And I knew that seeing Teddy and Gus's banter, I was like, they're gonna be a couple. They're gonna be a couple at some point. So
yeah, you can, once you've read a few romances, you can like pick up on those things where you're like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a future book. No, I think Luke and Emmy were a great start to the series. I think it was a good introduction. I think she chose like the best couple to start with, and then they were there throughout the rest of the series, which was really nice. And yeah, I guess like the main trope in this one is brother's best friend. And I mean that's not a bad trope for me. I thought it was really good. I liked their banter, and there was also kind of a nice like the way that they had known each other for so long was nice. But yeah, the horse stuff was one of my favorite parts, and then just him working with her to like help her overcome that from her accident, and then her like fear of getting back on the horse basically was
literally
really nice to read about. Yeah.
There was a quote in here, and of course I can't find it, but I'm gonna paraphrase it, where the dad tells Luke, you know, thank you for taking care of her, and Luke's like, I didn't do anything. Like, she knows how to take care of herself, and I'm like, thank you, acknowledgement that the women can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just I loved that. I'm like, all right, this guy's good. This is good.
Yeah. I cannot remember the dad's name. What's the dad's name?
Amos.
Okay, yes, Amos. Yeah, he is the sweetest. I love him so much. He was just like so supportive of everybody's romance, and it just made me so happy.
And he if we're doing a fantasy trope or fantasy element equivalent, he's like the wizened wizard, like guiding everyone along. I'm like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, so sweet. And then he would just like cook meals for them as well. I'm just like, oh, I need an Amos.
Yes.
Yeah. Also,
and he loves everyone. So, and he takes everyone how they are, and he doesn't try to change anyone. And such a great.
Yeah. This is like through every single book I've noticed this, not just the first book, but I also, one thing that I really like that Lyla Sage does is she has like safe sex talk before it gets into the smutty scenes. Yes. Which I just like, it's not done in enough romance books. And it's okay, people think that it's like it's not sexy and it takes you out of the moment or something, but it's just like, this is important. And I think that a romance author should be like role modeling stuff that we should be doing in real life.
Safe sex and consent. Like yes. To that point, however, I do feel like it's kind of this copy paste. And I feel like I don't want to assume people have kinks or anything, and I don't want to kink shame, but just use condoms. Like, just even if you have an IUDs, there's still a chance. Still use condoms. You can still, it's fine. And I'm just like, okay. Once I kind of got over that and just realized that that was just going to be a thing, I was like, okay, just gonna read the sexy time scenes and not worry about it too much. Which is, you're not supposed to think about them too much. So
yeah, I mean, at least they had the discussion. That was something.
yeah, exactly.
You don't see in a lot of romance books.
Yeah, that's true.
What was your favorite thing about the first book?
So definitely the horse stuff. I like I said, I wanted more of that because I've had multiple falls before. That a couple scary, well, one particular scary one for me at least. And I just wanted to see her work through that more. But otherwise, this would have been like, probably twice as long. And I know that's not realistic for a romance. Romance is generally supposed to be 300, 400 pages. So I just wanted more of her working with the horses, and that was it. But
yeah,
I did love the scenes of Luke just training her basically, and just he's making her take it slow. He's not pushing her in any way. And I think that's a reflection of like their relationship as well. Like he's letting her take the lead. Or as it could be said, take the reins.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked the horse stuff as well. That was kind of what drew me in, I think, at the start, was just reading about that. And yeah, I've also had falls, but many of mine was when I was a kid. And like when you're a kid, you just kind of like you fall, you get back on. You're like, my mum used to say I was like a rubber band where I'd just like fall off and then get back on the horse. So, but as you get older and you fall, it's definitely a lot more scary, and you get in your head a lot more. So yeah, that was good. I also think it could have been like she could have spent a little bit more time expanding on that. But I don't know, maybe she was wanting to focus a little bit more on the romance and then didn't get enough time for it. Yeah. But it was still good to see that storyline through to progression and then to completion. And then I think like one of my other favorite things was Emmy and Teddy's friendship as well. That was really nice. Like just like nice female friendships and like supporting each other. And yeah, I liked that a lot.
And I don't know, how do I explain this? So they're kind of like an opposites attract type situation in their friendship, I felt.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really nice to see how basically she kind of applied tropes even to the friend groups as well.
Yeah.
Not just the romance, which again, kind of, I feel made all of the characters more dynamic and more complex. Whereas Teddy could have just been like, oh, I'm going to be the best friend and I'm going to play this role. But she gave her depth in the relationship depth. So.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah. And I also really liked Emmy like settling at the ranch and realizing that she wanted to stay there, and like she'd done her traveling and seeing the world, and this is what, like she now should come home. So that was a nice like end to the story.
Yeah. It's not the first one, I think, that Teddy does the jacket, creates the jacket for Emmy, or no? Is that the third one?
I think it might be the third one. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the problem with reading them in such a short time that you just like everything. It just feels like one big book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked. I guess with the establishment of Teddy, like she's crafty, but she's also like a punk girl in my head, and I'm just like, these two things don't necessarily always like go together in my brain, but for somehow it works for Teddy's character. Like you believe her character, and that he is this crafty person, but she's also like punk-esque. And I really like that. So
she's just very cool.
yeah, she's cool.
I want
Yeah,
to be
there you
friends
go.
with
That's very
Teddy.
simple.
Yeah.
But
Swift and saddled.
Swift and Saddled. Let's go. My
Yeah.
favorite. I as soon as it was mentioned, I think probably maybe towards the end that of Done and Dusted, that Wes wanted to open up they were talking about the hotel or whatever, or the whatever it's called. And they mentioned, I think Teddy mentioned, oh, I have a friend from college that does like, I don't know, design stuff or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen. And then I read the back and I was like, oh yes, it's gonna happen. She's a fish out of water, but she doesn't like, I don't know. I feel like in like those Hallmark movies, whenever the city girl comes to the country, it's just nonstop falling in the mud and judging people for, the pace of the town or what people do. And the way that Ada just embraces everything, when there's the whole storm and she tells Wes, or she's concerned that Wes is just going to leave the calf there. I was getting all verklempt and I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. And that just endeared me to her even more. And then them as a couple that, he's like, yep, I'm going to get this calf. And yeah, I love Swift and Saddled. Like I said, it's my favorite. So
yeah. And I love Ada. Like I said previously, see a lot of myself in Ada, and she's just so sweet. And then another thing that I like a continuation from the first book was like Emmy and Teddy's friendship, but then them embracing Ada and then like extending that friendship to her, and not just being like, like you're the new one here, like we're not going to hang out with you.
Not clicky, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was really sweet. And then I like seeing Ada's job as well. Like I love interior design and like decorating and stuff. So that was like really fun to read about those parts. And I like that she was good at her job. Like she was confident in herself. She knew she could do a good job. And it's like similar to what you were saying about like the city girl coming into the country. Like a lot of the times they would do that where she would be out of place or be falling over or something. Like it could have been written that she was out of her depth and she was doing a bad job, but I like that she was able to do a good job and she knew that she could do a good job.
Yeah. And it's in this one that we get more of Cam, and basically Lyla Sage is setting up Cam's romance, right? It's when they have the pizza party.
Yeah, because I remember the pizza party, like all the girls hanging out and Cam was there, and then like Dusty comes back and there's a bit of a moment.
But yeah, no, to your point of like they're not being clicky, and they're just expanding and just making this friend group even larger, and embracing everybody's kind of differences and strengths and all that stuff. And again, Amos is so supportive of everyone. Like he's tells Ada, you could just stay here. Like that's so sweet.
Yeah. And yeah, the romance was really sweet. Like I think they were such a good match for each other. And Ada had some commitment issues because she was married and like divorced. And I love that Wes was just so patient with her and just so like just reminding her like it's okay, like we'll take it slow. I'm not going to go anywhere. You don't have to be scared, and just like reassuring her all the time instead of letting that like trigger him and being like, oh, well, you don't trust me or react like that.
Yeah. And then for Wes individually, words hard. Anyways, for him as a character, I appreciated that he had his own motivations with the whole, the kind of ranch hotel kind of getaway thing. Like, and he had his inferiority complex of like everyone else has their thing, this is my thing and I want it to succeed.
Yeah.
And seeing him like build confidence or have confidence from the get-go, and still being uncertain and facing his insecurities was really endearing as well. And I really appreciated
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, that was really nice as well. Like he was very much a middle child and feeling that like the oldest son is going to be the one who takes on the ranch one day, and like what is his role in this family, and him discovering that was really nice. And then him being able to discover that kind of with Ada together. And I also liked at the end how it was written that like Ada did go off and do some other jobs in other locations as well, so that she didn't feel like her own career was just
On hold, and
yeah,
she was
yeah, yeah, and then like coming back to the ranch, and like long distance, it can work. What a
as
surprise!
evidence.
Yeah, so I think that was like everything was just really well done in that book.
Yeah. Now I just want to reread it again. But Lost and I say lassoed. How do you say it again?
Yeah,
Lassoed?
I've been saying lassoed, but I don't know. Maybe it's just an Australian thing. Maybe I'm
Or maybe
wrong.
I'm saying it wrong and I'm just
No, I
ignorant.
did. I watched like an interview with Lyla Sage, and she said it like lassoed as well. So
Oh, okay. Well,
it's
then
me.
looking at it, that makes sense that it's a lot lassoed. Yeah. All right. Well. Anyway, so the book that we all was we all were waiting for but didn't know we needed.
Teddy and Gus.
Yeah, and I loved the dedication for everyone who got to chapter 3 of Done and Dusted and immediately wanted Gus and Teddy. I'm so happy to finally share their story with you. Thank you for waiting. So,
Yeah.
and again, I loved the banter that she set up from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
between Gus and Teddy, and it just was even better in this book. And I love, oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, I love this book. And yeah, so like the premise, the start of this book is like Teddy losing her job or like because the owner's selling the fashion store, and her needing some work during the summer while she figures out what she's going to do, and then taking on some babysitting work for Gus with the daughter, Riley. And yeah, this is like the part where I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to work for me with a kid in the mix. But Riley was so sweet and I loved her. And I love Riley and Gus, like the father and daughter dynamic. And then I love Teddy and Riley. Like they were just really sweet. Like they were like little friends. And it was just the whole thing was so I loved reading about like any time that Teddy and Riley were together and they were creating like projects together, and then like also the different ways that each of them were able to bring different things out of Riley as well was really nice.
again, no pun intended, not to beat a dead horse. But I again, like the craftsmanship and like the character work that Lyla Sage is doing throughout this series is she's making them believable as individual characters, and then their relationships and their dynamics all together. It makes sense, and I so appreciate that because it's it just shows the skill of her craftsmanship and her abilities as a writer. And
Definitely. Yeah, and I really like how Teddy and Gus start off as this kind of enemies to lovers trope where they're butting heads all the time, and they're both really stubborn, and like every time they're in the same room they're like arguing about something. But
and
then
then
that
you
like
get
very
and then you get
sorry.
the basically kind of the reason why,
Yeah,
which you didn't
yeah,
expect, was like, oh, I guess that kind of makes sense.
yeah. And I love the way that kind of just like very slowly fades as they both start to be vulnerable and reveal these different like layers of themselves and realize that they are actually very similar, and they're butting heads because they are so similar, and because it's like a protection
Yeah.
that they're using against each other and the world. And then they're just like once they've gotten to this stage. They're so sweet to each other, and like I just love that so much.
And yeah.
Also, like the smut in this book was my favorite.
I'm probably thinking of the last book, but yeah. I mean, I never thought I would say that I enjoyed like spicy scenes, but I love reading Lyla Sage's spicy scenes. Like, it's descriptive, but it's not so descriptive that she's comparing appendages to fruit. So, which I appreciate. I very much appreciate. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be comparing appendages to fruit. So.
Yeah. No, I've read like closed door romances and open door romances before, and I think that Lyla Sage does a good job of it. It never felt cringy, which sometimes it does.
Yeah. They do feel a little samey in that I feel like there's like a switch of like, oh yep, we're going into to spicy territory, and all of a sudden it goes from 0 to 60 in the dirty talk territory, and I'm like, okay. Again, once I got used to that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go with the flow here.
Yeah.
Let it happen. But I'm like, oh, okay. First time it happened, I'm like, what's happening? So.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That, yeah, it can be like that.
But I guess kind of as a weird segue, this is the Wild and Wrangled is the one where the spicy scene that I was like, oh my gosh. And apparently multiple people were what's the term? Oh my god, what is the term? Going feral. There you go. Going feral over the spicy scene in Wild and Wrangled between
Cam and the bathroom scene?
The putting his hand on her neck with his hand tattoo. I don't know if that's the bathroom scene.
I don't think it is, no.
Yeah. Apparently people on the internet were going feral over that. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe she did it! Finally! But the story itself, again, I love second chance romances. I love the usage of letters. Again, see Persuasion by Jane Austen. And I was so pleasantly surprised slash shocked slash thankful that Lyla Sage included letters in this. I did not expect that. And I also didn't expect the dual narrative in it, which worked for me. Which I guess with second chance romance, I feel like that's kind of, is that pretty standard to do like a dual narrative of past versus present?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because second chance romance is like probably my least favorite trope. So we're very opposite with our romance tropes, but I enjoyed this. Like it was not like I was hate reading it or anything. Like it was probably my least favorite of the four, just because it is my least favorite trope. But I still really liked it. And then there was because it was the last book in the series, it had that like thing that I talked about where you knew all the characters from the rest of the series, and everyone felt like a friend and someone that you knew at this point as well.
Yeah.
And then also like Cam is Riley's mum, so then we get to see the other side of the like Riley dynamic, which is really sweet. And Dusty in like this book, and then like Teddy in the last book are just like such sweet step parents for Riley. Like I love that everyone's just co-parenting and like communicating clearly. It's just, yeah,
healthy relationships all around. We need more of that. Just in fiction, not just romance, in fiction.
Yeah. And real life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and I liked the just the whole the tension of Cam being basically left at the altar. Well, actually not basically. She is left at the altar. And the whole tension there, and then on top of that, of her wanting a place to call her own that's her own and not being dependent upon anyone, and the tension with Dusty there. And he's just like, I'll just give you whatever you want, no strings attached. And I thought that was really, really well done. That could have been easily fumbled.
And I did love the letters. Like, the letters were really sweet.
Yeah, the letters were very sweet.
I did like predict the kind of like twist that Dusty owned the property. Or like, I kind of thought that it was going to be that Dusty was the one who the property was going to be left to when that lady died, but it turns out that he like already did. Which was like not my favorite part, because I wish he would have just told her. Like, I didn't like that like not telling her aspect of it. But that's fine. That was just a minor part.
Yeah. Yeah, I maybe I'm just too dense. I didn't see it. So I was like, oh, okay, that's happening. And I thought it was just gonna be a case of like maybe it was a jump in logic, but I thought he was basically going to sell it as well. Like, like she thought the lady thought she was selling it, but it was really he was gonna sell it to someone. So I don't know, maybe I was just getting my wires crossed there. But I think this one was the most complex, like plot wise going on. And I think she well, actually, I think it's, I don't know, size wise. I think she kind of balanced it all very well. And everything came in a, because it was kind of resolved to satisfaction.
Yeah.
But
actually, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, actually, Cam was the only one who did have the like toxic family dynamic, because she's from a different family, and she's kind of like in this Ryder family by her association with Gus and then Riley. So like it worked fine having that one character who had the family dynamic, because it wasn't just like constantly throughout the whole series that this was the case. And I felt for her a lot. Like, her parents were awful, and then I could understand her wanting to be able to provide for her daughter. And yeah, but it also was like really nice that the Ryder family welcomed her so much and like made her feel like a part of their family, because she'd had this like crappy childhood and family that just were awful of her own.
Again, going back to Amos being so awesome.
Yeah.
And again, like in any other thing, it'd be like, oh, once they're divorced, like she's the evil ex-wife or evil, ex or whatever, and everything's cut off. But no, everyone is, once you're in the family, you're in the family.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of there. So, and I really like that. I just hope that we get to see glimpses at least of the Ryder family, the even the wider ones in the next series, but we'll see. I loved the epilogue in Wild and Wrangle, bringing it back to Emmy and Luke, specifically Emmy and Amos, and just bringing the Ryder kids all together. Literally had me sobbing. It was so sweet.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect way to finish the series and like to put a little like bow on it. I think she said that she was going to do a novella about Amos or something, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna happen, if it's still gonna happen, what's going on. But I will take it yesterday, please.
Yeah. And it would be really fun if the new series just had little snippets of these characters in it. Like, oh, we went to like the dress store and we saw Teddy or something. Like, that would be so fun.
Or we stayed at the ranch, like, house thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's supposed to be paranormal, so I wonder. I don't know. I'm speculating. It's fine. Yeah. Any other thoughts in general, specific?
I think we pretty much covered it all. think that like the best way to sum up this series is that it's like a warm, spicy hug, and that everyone should read it.
There you go. That's it. And if not that I am a end all be all of anything, but I am notorious apparently for not liking fun and not getting out of my comfort zone. And this series got me out of my comfort zone. This series is fun. This series brings me joy. So if anything, get out of your comfort zone and read these books. And read romance. So
exactly, yes.
You never know.
Live like a cowgirl for a week. You won't regret it.
All right. I don't know how to end these things. Thank you, Taylor, for letting me force you on here and being on screen. So
yeah, thank you for having me for my first YouTube video.
Yeah. I am kind of bummed that Hershey did not make an appearance, but next time it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think he remembers that I exist. He's like his Kai's cat now, so yeah.
Again, thank you, everyone. Again, I don't know how to sign off on these things. So bye.